Hey everyone, it's JR with JR's Cards. We are going to be opening up this complete set, unopened, 1989 Bowman. We're going to pull that guy out right there and see if it's something that's worth grading. Got McGuire on there, Darryl Strawberry, and Mickey Mantle. So I have quite a collection of complete sets from the junk wax era that I haven't opened up yet, and I've been slowly pulling through them and pulling out the rookies and pulling out the stars, and then putting them away. So figured maybe I can do some of these on YouTube. I'd been doing about one set a week just on my own. I'm thinking, well, maybe someone would have some interest in seeing this. I could be wrong. I don't know. So the one thing about 89 Bowman is they're a little bit longer than a typical card, height-wise. So let me find a card to compare it to. So when I was a kid, all my 89 Bowmans were always damaged. So you can kind of see how much is left there, sticking up. So we'd put these in sleeves, put them in pages, and the tops of them would always, the corners especially, would always get messed up. So I'm debating if all the stars, I would normally pull all the Hall of Famers and put them in a binder, and I'm kind of debating if I want to do that or not. Granted, I'm a lot more careful with cards than I was back when I was a kid. But the rookies, the Griffey, there's a Griffey rookie, Sheffield, Smoltz. I'll probably pull the Steve Finley, Robin Ventura, Jim Abbott, and Tino Martinez rookies out too. So those aren't, terribly low end. And those will go on in top loaders and possibly get graded. As of right now, I'm not very good at grading cards, and until I get better and kind of know more what I'm doing, I'll probably hold off on that and at least have the raw version, and hopefully, in really good mint condition. Alright, so I'm not going to name all these guys. I'm just going to pull out the stars, hopefully. You see there's no name on it, just the kind of the fake autograph on there. So I think that's Eric Hansen, Jim Rice. He's a Hall of Famer. I think that Bowman box is kind of messing up my thing. And I've mentioned how I pull the Hall of Famers and put them in the binders. And I don't have enough room and the money to buy enough binders and enough pages to pull every single Hall of Famer out. So they will go in their own box, separate from commons. Normally I only do Hall of Famers that have been voted in within the first 5 years, or guys that would be in regardless of the steroid issue. So pretty much numbers. 500 home runs, you're most likely going to be in the binder. 3,000 hits, 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts. If you've been voted in, you're not going in the binder. I had to kind of put a limit on how many cards I can store away that way. I might have to burn these a lot faster, so we're going to go through these pretty fast here, because we have, I think the set's about 400 some cards, and hopefully I catch everyone. And normally I make two piles, a commons pile. For several different reasons, I unload my commons. I don't complete sets. I live in a small house, and I have twins. I just don't have the space to keep every card that I obtain. It's Ryan Sandberg. Let me Sorry, I'm not very prepared here. So I'm going to pull the Ryan Sandberg out. Leo Franco. Nah. So I'll have to go through all these. I'm not going to sit here and separate the comments from everything else. It was Ozzie Smith. He will go in the binder. For the most part, I have everyone memorized on who goes in binder. I think that's a Tom Gordon rookie. I might pull the Royals autographs for myself. Once again, I don't have room in binders for all that. Tom Gordon played in Kansas City for quite some time. He's not a Royals Hall of Famer. Maybe I should pass. I don't know. Lou Whitaker. I can't remember if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he didn't make it in on the first 5 tries. I don't have room. I'm sorry. Roberto Alomar. He goes in my box, or in my binder. Barry Larkin. Now I do have an exception for vintage 1980 and older. There's a Tino Martinez rookie. We're pulling him. Vintage wise, every Hall of Famer goes in. I don't care what his status is, how long it took him to get in, if he was voted in or written in, or you know what I mean. Ricky Henderson for the Yankees. Jose Canseco. Thought he, in 1989, we all thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer. There's our John Smoltz rookie. Pull that away and take a better look at it. I think I'm okay at grading vintage cards, but when it comes to junk wax era, I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. There's the back. It looks nicely centered. I'm going to put it in the light, let the light reflect it a little bit. And, the corners look good. I wouldn't want to send something in unless I know it's going to get at least a 9. But I don't see any marks on the front. The corners look good. I don't see any chipping. So my instinct would tell me to send this in. There's like a tiny bit of white on that corner there. The tiniest bit of white. And I don't know. I don't know if that would ding it or not. I need to start watching some YouTube videos on people grading their own cards. Vintage-wise, I'm happy to get even get mid-grade level. 5. For key cards, not for just an everyday vintage card. Pull this stack here. Sorry if you can hear that. That's my heater kicking on. Ron Kittle. So Frank White, Royals Hall of Famer. One of 3 Royals to have their number retired. A lot of people probably don't know that. There's our Nolan Ryan. There's our Don Mattingly. Now, I mentioned the Hall of Famers. Don Mattingly is the exception. Don Mattingly seems to hold his value, even though he never went to the Hall of Fame. So Don Mattingly is one exception to my Hall of Fame rule. Dave Parker. Roger Maris is another one. Granted, this is a Chris Sabo rookie card. You can see how blind he is without his glasses. He can barely open his eyes. But Sabo doesn't make the cut this time. And this guy's going to go in. You know, would be in the first ballot Hall of Famer just based on numbers. If you take away the steroid stuff. So he makes it in. Jeff Montgomery, Royals Hall of Famer. I might go through all these and pull the Royals Hall of Famers and do something with them. Carlton Fisk, Hall of Fame, but I don't remember how many years it took, but it took more than 5. Or he, you know, didn't make the cut. Will Clark. Will Clark's another one in the 90s we all thought would be making the Hall of Fame. Alright, here's another one of our rookies. Here's our Gary Sheffield rookie. Gary Sheffield does not go in the binder, but it's a rookie, so it is going to go in the top loader. Looks like there's a little Dean mark right there where that light reflects off of it. That's. I want to get the Griffey. I want it to look more like the Smoltz, not so much like the Sheffield there. I don't know if it's the cards being a little bigger. I feel like I have a hard time getting a good grip on them, especially to blow through them fast, because I do have a time limit here on my phone on how much recording I can do. And I may have just damaged a Wally Joyner. Rafael Palmeiro goes in the binder, unfortunately. Not too happy with him. But based on 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's a Mike McFarland rookie for anyone that cares about the Royals. I am having difficulty holding these cards in my hand. Greg Jeffries was a big name one time. John Kruk in the Padres uniform. Orel Hershiser. Doug Drabick. I am kind of slow at pushing these cards around because of the, no clear name on the front. Kevin Mitchell and Gary Gaetti. And Vance Coleman. We're a little over a quarter of the way done. Here's our Robin Yount. First ballot Hall of Famer. Let's make this stack a little smaller. Andre Dawson. I love Andre Dawson, but took him a while to get in. Here's our Steve Finley rookie. The rookies I'm pulling out have a bit higher book value than some of the other rookies. Hence Chris Sabo. There's like 4 tiers of rookies in this set, and Chris Sabo was in the second to last tier. So that's how I kind of decided who comes out and who doesn't. Of course, Griffey's number 1, Sheffield, Smoltz number 2, and then all the guys I'm pulling out, other than those guys, were kind of number 3, number 2, number 3, something like that. So Jack Morris. Some people ask how I know so many Hall of Famers, who's in and who's not. It's because a lot of my collection gets put in certain places based on where they are in the Hall of Fame. It's something that's really hard to keep track of. And every now and then I'll pull a name out as an Eckersley Hall of Famer. I'll have to look someone up. There's a second-year Tom Glavine. That goes in our good pile. Steve Avery, rookie. He did not make the cut. Sorry, Steve Avery. I know at one time he was a pretty good pitcher. Harold Reynolds. There's our Jim Abbott rookie. We will pull him out. He goes in our pile. Here's our Greg Maddux for the Cubs. Easily first ballot Hall of Famer. And personally, I think the best pitcher of my generation of late 80s, 90s, early 2000s. He didn't have the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. He had everything else. And I think Clemens is one of the more popular guys too, but Maddux was just ridiculous with his control and setting up hitters. Clemens goes in the pile because he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if it wasn't for all the other garbage. Dwight Gooden. And I do believe Clemens will get in eventually. You know, he was a big-time stud in his early 20s. You know, I don't know if anyone thinks he was doing steroids then or not, but he was a skinny dude. Same with Barry Bonds. I think Bonds gets in based on how well they performed early on in their career. And then they both just kind of ballooned with these giant heads. That's our Paul Molitor. 3,000 hit club. There's our Wade Boggs. 3,000 hit club. Maybe one of the best hitters from the 80s. Did not hit a lot of home runs. Dale Murphy. Here's our Ripken brothers and father. My big old thumb in the way. That goes. Of course, Cal Ripken, easily first ballot Hall of Famer. Pete Harnish. No, he was not. That was a Pete Harnish rookie, but he's son of a... That's a weird picture. I mean, it almost looks like, in comparison, this thing was like drawn. Like the old 50s cards. Maybe it was, for all I know. I don't know. Sorry, knocked over a bunch of cards. This card is John Eriks. So I can't imagine someone was like, hey, John Eriks is our guy. Edgar Martinez. Love Edgar Martinez. But I have strict rules. I thought Edgar would get in a lot sooner than he did. I know the whole DH thing is an issue with people. Eddie Murray. Cal Ripken. Yeah, I thought Edgar would get in within his 5 years just based on numbers. And like I said, I have a tendency to look at numbers and not other things like position, like DH. A lot of DHs are going to be rolling through soon. David Ortiz being one, spending the majority of his career. Kirby Puckett as a DH. I mean, even Frank Thomas, he was a first baseman for a long time, but towards the end of his career, he was DH. Hank Aaron, towards the end of his career, DH'd. I mean, it's that old school philosophy, but I think that's slowly turning away. Here's one of our Griffies here. This Griffey has like no book value at all. Not a very popular card. Griffey Jr. and Senior. To me, it looks really good. And it's going to get top loaded as soon as the video is done. Huh. I thought this was... I didn't realize on the back it's, you know, just says Ken Griffey, Cincinnati Reds first base. But still, I think, you know, in my eyes, it's a Griffey rookie. Probably the least valuable of all the Griffey rookies, but Griffey rookie nonetheless. If you're collecting all the Griffey rookies, you don't have them all until you have that one also. There's Mr. Tim Raines. Mike Schmidt. I did not realize he was in this set. He goes in. And the very next card in the set here is the Griffey. So I bought all these Wax Box Complete sets unopened to pull these kind of cards out. They range from 1986 to 92. And someone I know was selling them all. And that's the only reason I bought them, was to pull all the rookies out. I sold my childhood collection many years ago. And slowly purchasing them back in. And one thing I know that's different is these cards are in a lot better shape. When I was a kid, I kept, let's put them in binders. Get it all in binders. I don't like the way that looks. Let's put them in top loaders. Again, like the way that looks. Let's put some of these here, some of these there. So they got touched way too much. On top of, when I was a kid, I wasn't that concerned about mint condition. And I should have been. And if my kids get into the hobby, I just want them to know the same thing. Like, you know, do what you want with your cards, but don't touch them. Son of a... There's our Mark McGwire. Alan Trammell. We had our Eric Davis, which I thought would be, you know, looked like he might be on the track to being in the Hall of Fame at one point. But that faded pretty quick. Here's our Alomars. Sandy Roberto and Sandy Sr. Looks like 1989 Bowman is a family product. List books. Brady Anderson rookie. I was surprised that he wasn't up there with the other rookies. I mean, I don't always base everything off book value. Here's some 3000 hit dudes. I think Dave Winfield has 3000. And of course, George Brett. I'll get my big thumb out of the picture. I never checked to see if these are in any order. They are not. They're just really random. There's our Gary Carter, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Ryan Sandberg. Wasn't he 23? I don't know. And we're down to our little last stack here. Here's our legend here in Kansas City, Bo Jackson. How many All-Star games did Bo Jackson, what was he in? The number might surprise you, because I was totally shocked when I looked it up. There's our Tony Gwynn. Jay Buhner. Yeah, Jay Buhner, he is not. Here's our Robin Ventura rookie. We're going to pull him out. Great third baseman for a while. And that is it. Did I pull everyone? I don't remember pulling Tino Martinez out. just about done here. I'm going to have to go through there. Nope, I did pull Tino Martinez out. Good job for me. So here are, we're going to call them hits. Here's our John Smoltz rookie. Ooh, that's looking a little rough. As in camera, not card. Here's our Gary Sheffield. Here's our Griffey. And then we'll call this one the good Griffey, which makes that other Griffey the bad Griffey. Alright, that's it for tonight. Here's the 4 key cards I wanted to pull. That Griffey to me looks gradable. I think I'll fold up 4 of these does, but we're going to hold off for right now. If I decided to do any, it would just be the Griffey. That might be worth the money. Maybe. Nothing else. Cool, that's it. Thanks for watching. And, I mean, if you guys think these things are gradable, let me know. Like I said, I'm definitely not an expert by any means. But I would like to start getting some things graded and kind of judge, you know, how good I am at grading, you know, beforehand. Cool, thanks. I have quite a bit of boxes more to open up. So there'll definitely be more videos pulling 80s and 90s rookies out. Cool, thanks.